I'm going to call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. In fact, we have all members present. First item is approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
I would like to set a motion to approve the agenda. I
I'll
actually have
second.
read it.
I'll second.
Or
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye and raise your hand.
aye.
Thank you. Opposed, nay? All right, that carries unanimously. Second item is approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which was November 8th. Can I get a motion and a second to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Have a
But
motion.
I think I see a correction.
Oh, okay, go ahead, say it.
Well, the header says September 13th.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I will correct that typo.
Good catch, Pat. Okay.
Yeah,
any-
I kept looking for the November minutes. No, these are September.
Any other corrections?
No.
All right, so can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes as corrected? I did get it, didn't I? All in favor
Yeah, you did.
of approving the minutes corrected, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Excellent. That carries unanimously. We have no presentations. First item for discussion, Parks Commission accomplishments in 2022. Pat, let's go.
Okay, so we had a really busy year, I think, in my opinion. And I think it's nice at the start of the year to just go back and look where we were last year and how far we've come. Because I think we have a lot to be proud of this year. And so this is what I have. And when I say we, it's not just the Parks Commission, but it's Dana and Robbie and Daryl and the city council and other staff in general. So it's everyone. So the first thing was started right at the beginning of the year. We got a new process for nominating projects to city commissions. And that was to prevent commissions and staff from working on things that didn't have full support from city council. We tested it with the Hutchinson Ferry disc golf course proposal, and it worked well. So number two, and I think this happened in 2022, we now have a city parks tab at the top of the web page, the city's web page, on top of the homepage of the city's website. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think that's great because people know right where to go if they want park information. In Cochrane Mill Park, there's a new parking fee kiosk to get rid of all the problems with the old one. Also in Cochrane Mill Park, the information kiosk has been upgraded a lot. The new signage that got put in there really looks nice compared to what it was looking like before, which was pretty junky. Also, there are new markings along all the trails to help visitors find their way and to help emergency personnel to find the visitors who don't find their way. Also, there's a new trail map, which I hope will be put into effect fairly soon because it's great. And the green trail was revised to enable people to hike a loop without going on to Bear Creek property, Nature Center property, if that's what they wanted, although going to the Nature Center is great too. Now there's a cell tower installed in Cochrane Mill Park, and next to it is a new parking lot, which is going to greatly help. On the weekends when there's never enough parking, and I think that's supposed to be active by spring. There are IntelliSight security cameras now in Cochrane Mill Park, right? 2 of those. And I don't know if we talked about Campbellton Park. I don't know if one went in there or not, but anyway. There's a new nature trail in Hutchinson Ferry Park. It officially opened in April. There was a ribbon cutting ceremony at movie night in the park, which was a really great event. We met with the Trust for Public Lands to discuss the details of some of the elements they're going to be putting in Campbellton and Riverlands parks that have to do with their water trail campsites. In March, we participated in Sweep the Hooch, cleaning up trash around Campbellton Park. As part of the City Nature Challenge, Clifford organized bio blitzes in Hutchinson Ferry and Riverlands Park. In conjunction with the Trust for Public Lands and Pond and Company, we hosted a Riverlands Park community planning session to collect public input for future development of a master plan for that park. And there was an article about Riverlands Park in Chat Hills News, sort of to get the word out to the community. And Roland deserves the usual huge shout out for his trail maintenance in Cochrane Mill and Hutchinson Ferry Park. And Cochrane Mill Park now has a ranger station. No ranger yet, we have a ranger station. And if we left anything out, if I left anything out, I'm sorry. But I think you can see we have a lot to be proud of this year. So I just wanted to do a little recap. Ta-da.
Thank you, Pat. That was wonderful. Wow. I didn't realize we got all that done this year. Thank you.
Well, thanks to Dana's minutes.
Wonderful. And you're right. It was just Parks Commission. There were a lot of other folks.
A lot of other people.
And
yes.
that's so good. Did we leave anything out? Can anybody think of anything else? Or questions or comments? Okay, thank you so much, Pat. That's wonderful. All right, the next item is the Parks Commission priorities for 2023. So what I'd like to do is just go through park by park and just let's just get a list first without discussing it. And then let's go back and see if there's certain items that we feel are more important than others. Okay, so let's start with good old Cochrane Mill Park. What do we need there? Anybody?
You mean for projects or just things? I mean, we're talking for
Anything.
Well, one big thing at Cochrane Mill, of course, is to finish the numbering system, which is not done yet. I'm gonna say it's close, and to replace the missing Carsonite posts, which seems to be yearly. So it's a project to finish.
We've gotten, do we have numbers on the yellow and the red trail now?
Yeah, I have numbers on most. I have it all. Yellow's done, red on most of it. There's some that I've missed because the signs are gone now. There's several kiosks, Carsonite posts that have been removed. A lot of them. I found the stumps from them where they were broken off.
Intentionally.
Yes.
I know
yeah.
sometimes they just fall over, but these.
No, these are
broken.
splintered and broken off. And I found a few. I have the remnants of them, but they have to be replaced, and the numbers went with them. So that definitely needs to be finished. And then of course we got orange and green to finish. Those aren't as bad because there's not as many. So, and that's holding up the map. I know that. So
Yeah.
that's my bad for not finishing that.
It's not just like bikers hitting it, is it?
No,
Okay.
to break those off, you have to, it takes a lot of work and force, a lot of effort to break those off. I mean, they have a metal rod in them, and they're fiberglass. So they're hard to break. They're meant to be pushed all the way over to the ground and then come back up.
Okay.
And somebody has to step on them and snap them off and probably work them back and forth. It's unfortunate. I mean, it's people, that's just the way people are. I mean, I'm sure Daryl knows the public is not kind to public property.
Roland, do you need help installing numbers and posts?
I don't need help. I need motivation. So I need, and then maybe that comes in and help if somebody else was like, hey, I will help you and motivate you to go out there and spend a full Saturday or Sunday just doing it. It could probably be all done in two weekends. I mean, it really could, because it's like, yeah. So actually, if somebody wanted to volunteer on the Parks Commission to help with that would be great, because I'm also doing the same thing over at Hudson Ferry. So
Hey, Roland, this is Chris here. Hey, I would like to do it. It will help me get some exercise. So, hey, let's do it. Not
Yeah.
this weekend. Let's do next weekend if you have time. If you
Yeah,
look
we
at your
have
schedule and
Yep, would love to do that. We have a work day coming up this Sunday. I was gonna mention it anyway. It's the first one in about
Okay.
2 years. So that would, with the big group, and I might take that opportunity to do some of that too. And then the next weekend we certainly could. Let's play. We'll watch the weather, and then I would love that. It would be awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, definitely.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Chris.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and like I said, it's on my part, it's motivation. I have actually been working at Hudson Ferry almost every week, just not Cocker Mill. So that'd be
Can
good.
anyone-
I'll get your email and let's see if we can connect a day and a time. Okay.
Yep. And the other thing, Diana, for Cocker Mill Park, there's a reroute that I really wanted to get done. It's a hand reroute and it's quite a bit of work. It involves rerouting back to an old trail that we used to have that got abandoned because trees fell on it. And it's on the horse part. Is to get rid of the horrible swampy mess that you can't use the trail. And if anybody remembers,
that would be great.
right, if anybody remembers, there used to be another trail that ran along the creek on the higher ground and it got abandoned, and that it just needs to be, it's not a reroute. So it wouldn't mean we
I know
need to
what you're
get
talking about. Yeah.
yeah, so Daryl, it wouldn't need to be, the city council wouldn't need to approve it because it's already there. It's an old Fulton County trailhead and it just needs to be reopened back up. And I surveyed it last year and when it was dry and it's doable. So that's another project. I'd like to get that in going before it grows back out again. Because once it grows out, it's privet. And it's hard to clean. It's hard to get through. So that one probably right after the numbering system. So that's on. And we need to install the signs that I think Daryl ordered them for Cocker Mill, the ones about staying off the the ones they're environmental signs that we designed to keep people from rearranging rocks and disturbing plants and things. And those might need help from Daryl's crew. Those are not out on the trails, they're more up close to put those in. And maybe we can do that this summer. It would be great. And let's see, I'm thinking we talked about fixing the fence and putting a people gate in at Hudson Ferry. I think we talked about that last year. And then it's not a cost thing, it's just more of a labor thing to do that. And now since the fence is blown down, that might be a problem. Daryl would have to talk to that.
Before we get to Hutchinson Ferry, is there anything else anyone can think of for Cochrane Mill Park?
Yeah, one thing I noticed, the playground probably needs some more, I don't know what, Daryl, what'd you put down there? Is it wood chips or?
Was it wood chips?
Mulch.
Yeah, mulch. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Daryl, is there somewhere free, like chipped up stuff that I've seen in some parts that's like made from old tires or something? I can't remember. And it was like some kind of.
Yeah, you can't get free tires from anybody anymore.
Oh, you can't? Oh, it's not free anymore.
That's hard to get.
Oh, okay. So it'll just be mulch.
Anything else for Cochrane Mill Park?
I'm just racking my brain. I can't think of anything else. Those are the only things.
Daryl, also, we talked about it last time. When are we gonna open that parking lot up? You said once they finish building
Before
the
spring,
tower.
before
That-
by spring it's ready.
Is that still the game plan, is wait till they finish putting the antennas up and everything? I hadn't
Yep.
seen any work over there in I don't know, quite
They
a
was there.
while.
They was there today.
Good,
Oh, cool.
all right, yeah, sounds good.
Pulling wires.
Daryl,
But-
do you feel like we will have enough parking when we get that parking lot open?
I sure hope so. I don't think we'll ever have enough parking, honestly. I don't
Yeah.
think we'll ever be able to give everybody a parking spot. Is that place is busy. Everybody loves it. You remember years
Yeah.
ago when I said, let's keep that diamond, keep that jewel quiet. You remember them days?
Oh
It's
yeah.
not quiet anymore. Everybody knows now. So it wouldn't matter if you built another parking lot for 100 cars. When a busy day comes, it's just the way it's going to be, forever.
Well, that's
We can
why
do
we
it. We can't
keep,
back.
we keep Hudson Ferry quiet.
I said
So-
that.
Yeah,
So someday we will need more parking. And also, Daryl, I know you said we'll need another restroom because what we
Yeah.
have is old and can't handle the volume.
Darryl, is there any, anything we need to do to those restrooms as far as upgrading? Is that, we need to talk about that, or is that your department, or is that part of the parks?
You talking about the restrooms that are there now?
Yeah,
Now, they're going to do all they can do at this point.
we better go with sign language to Daryl. I couldn't understand what you said. Can anybody
I'm
translate?
sure you can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Now,
now we
better.
can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
in
that's
now.
good.
What'd
me
you
see.
do? That's better.
How about now? Well, I don't know. I moved 2 feet.
That's
Um,
good.
Well,
That's good.
the restroom, the
Not
restroom,
good.
the restrooms right now, that's all they're gonna do. There's nothing you can upgrade them. There's nothing, and
Yep.
that's all you can do there. There's
Okay.
nothing you can do to upgrade them. You can always just make a bigger restaurant, just rebuild it. That's all you can do to that.
Yeah. Well, and Diana and Daryl and everybody, I thought of something else that I had talked to Clifford because he mentioned it to me about, we had walked out and kind of roughly mapped out an ADA trail on the other side. And, the part
Mhm.
that's the flat part.
Uh-huh.
And we talked about it, we'd end up having to have a little parking lot there, at some point. I don't know if it's possible not to do it this year, of course, but to at least further investigate doing that. And I think we talked about looking for grants to do that since it's ADA and there's money available for that as opposed to, just putting in trails. So maybe if that is possibility, it's always a possibility to have a small, satellite parking lot over there. And then since it's right on the road, of course, you maybe be able to, with a grant, put in restrooms on that side that would be accessible, restrooms. So just something maybe to think about.
Yeah,
talking
ranger
about.
station too. I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
ADA accessible. I don't know whether there's any need for it, but
Mm.
something to think about, talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't
think
know.
we had,
Maybe we can investigate it. I don't know.
After we walked that over there some, I think we talked about coming up with a proposal for what we'd like to do over there.
Yeah, and maybe we can do that as
Work on that this
At
year.
least do the proposal. Maybe
Mhm.
we can
Sort
work
of
on it.
outline.
Yeah, we did. We just never did it last year, but maybe that could be part this year too for Cochrane Mill. At least a proposal
Sounds
for it.
good. I think
Because
it's
it's pretty it would be pretty non-invasive. It's not like we're tearing up stuff and I do think that, an accessible trail would be a huge boom for Cochrane Mill Park for people that cannot, walk on the regular trails.
Yeah.
It would be really a good thing to do.
Yeah, I've seen some, well, actually, I've met some older people that used to come down there when they were kids and, walking with canes, reliving
Yep.
their childhood. going
Yeah, and it
down-
would be really
down
great
the
because
fall.
yeah, I think everybody was there, right? Including Chris when we walked it that day. Chris, were you? I don't know if you were there and saw what we were talking about. Think you were there. Can't remember, but maybe a proposal. Pat, do you want to? Could we work on that together, or do you want to?
Sure. But yeah,
I mean, we could just make it a project this year for just the proposal, like you suggested.
just sort of outline what we think we're gonna need and what it might cost. Oh, God.
Yeah, I would be willing to help with that.
Sounds
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
And I'd be glad
Yeah.
to help as well.
Okay, yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I think that's good. No, that's a good thing. And maybe in conjunction, like I said, if you're putting that in and then that would be the second restroom or something on that side, since there's literally a drive for it already there.
Mhm.
And one thing that I realized, if
Mhm.
if we all live long enough, we will have some kind of disability.
That's
So
right.
you're gonna know what it feels like.
I've already got mine. It's mental, so
Yeah, all that
Yep.
too, but sometimes that works. Hey, Roland, you mentioned it last year, a few months ago, I think, about people cutting down that bank, they're still doing it with the bicycles. Are we
I
gonna?
know, and I
stop
talked
that?
to, there's nothing we can do about it.
Okay,
I think it's kids. I don't think it's any like adults doing it, and I don't know how you could ever stop it. It's kind of like one of those rotten things that you just.
no,
have to-
it's all, I go through there sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. It's adults too. It's the bicycles are doing it too.
Oh, they are? The adults are now doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
It's
that.
an easy shortcut down to the road there. They'll just cut straight.
Oh,
down.
you're not talking about the ones on the upper part.
No, I'm talking about right there at the parking lot. They cut downhill. I thought that's what you were talking about. It's washing out.
No, I'm
It's
talking
creating
about
washing down.
I'm talking
down
about the
to end.
BMX bike track on the other side on the green
Oh,
trail.
no.
Yeah.
No, this is
Okay.
that front hill next to Cocker Mill Road that.
Yeah, the only way to stop that is a fence, and yeah, I know what you're talking about there too. Yeah, that's washing really bad. That's what people do. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, that'd be up to whether Daryl wanted to do anything with it. I just don't. I mean, it doesn't bother me as much as other things, so. Yeah. Does everybody
Anything
know where
else?
that's at?
It's more
Yeah.
cosmetic because you can see it pretty easily from the road there.
I know.
If.
Yeah, and it's
hopefully
causing
over a period of-
erosion along Cocker Mill Road because the water runs down that, and it's cut a
Yeah.
ditch at Cocker Mill Road too. I've seen that too.
Well, hopefully over a period of time, as we have money and time and
Mhm.
ideas, I'm hoping that front parking lot things, we can kind of fix it up, make it a lot more attractive than what it is, and that includes taking care of the erosion.
Yeah. Yeah, about the only thing you do is put in a nice split rail or something that's more decorative and as opposed to being a fence, you know, something like they do at other parks, like up in the mountains and stuff, like we were gonna do over at Hudson Ferry. It just keeps people from stepping over it, but you know.
All right, anything else for Cochrane Mill Park?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's go to Hutchinson Ferry Park. So we need to fix the fence, which came down in a storm, part of it, and put in a people gate. And Clifford was going to talk about signage there. We've got that as a separate agenda item, but I wonder if we should just talk about that now.
Well,
Sure.
and I've talked to Roland, and I'm going to co-opt him into this because he already developed a design that I think he shared as well. I just think it would be wonderful to have, first of all, we have enough trails there now that if not lost, it's certainly possible for someone that's never been there to get a little disoriented in terms of where they are. So it'd be not, plus it's nice for those that are arriving for the first time to be able to plan out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just you come to a junction, you don't know what to do if you haven't walked it as much as we have. In fact, we were out there just a few minutes ago today. So it would be wonderful to have an inviting board that had the map of the trails and a little bit of information about them. Would be wonderful, I think, and would make the trailhead area quite lovely and would define the trailhead more clearly. Right now, it's just if you're new, you have no idea there's a trailhead there. You don't know where to go.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. Right.
Yeah, I did. I think
That's true.
I think that was 3 years ago. It was part of the proposal for the trails. I think I mocked something up in a PDF and everybody, it's been so long. I can dig it back up and send it back out to everybody.
I think it wasn't that long ago, actually.
Was it 2 years or
2
less?
years, most if less.
2 years?
Less one.
I was here, so it was less than,
Yeah, it was
Wasn't 2 years ago.
whenever we proposed to the city council
right.
for the trails, and there was a page in there that had it had a mock-up for a real simple flat kiosk under the trees there at the trailhead. And I figured it would be something really simple to do, even if it was just done like a simple version of the kiosk at Cochrane Mill Park, where it's just 2 posts with a locked cabinet door with, you know, the map in there and information. That could be something that'd be done first. Pretty simple.
Good.
Where are you talking about, rolling on the backside or there at the front?
What now?
Where are you talking about putting it on the backside where the fence is or there at the
No,
front?
right up front, when you first turn in, you look left and you would see it. It's a group of pine trees where people park sometimes. And it's a shady spot, and it's where the trailhead marker is. It's
Yeah, I
right
took a
there.
picture of that, sent it to Pat last week, so I don't know where you're talking about. What about, we talked about it a little bit. I went up there a couple of days this week. It's been raining. Are we gonna plan any kind of parking area there? where it won't be so messy and mushy when it's.
We did talk about it, but I think once it seems like it doesn't suffer too bad once the winter's over and the grass comes in, because there's not enough traffic there yet to cause bad, except up there near the fence where people turn around up there.
Yeah, that's where I noticed.
Way
it.
back, yeah.
Yeah,
mean-
way back.
I don't
There's
know
not
how
really
quick that's
another
gonna-
area.
Right,
Well,
right where you first come in,
Mhm.
it's high ground to your right.
Yeah,
Maybe there, just suggestion like a sign that goes to the right says parking, a sign that goes to the left says nature trail.
okay. And then we
Like
would just,
that?
if people would just park in the grass.
Yeah, I mean, if you
You
just suggest, people will probably do it.
Okay, that's a
In the
good
May.
idea. That's a good idea.
I mean, if they're new to the park,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
they
that's a good idea.
parking.
Yeah, and I guess we could talk about it with Daryl and Robbie about what they would want, but yeah.
Well, I think eventually people like Cocker Mill Park so much, and you see how much traffic it's getting. It all depends on how, if you guys continue to do this great work you're doing, it's going to become popular. I think we better plan ahead and figure out where we're going to put them when it does become popular.
Yeah,
It can turn into a mess if we get a lot of traffic up there and we don't have.
well, it could be really a small area, like special events. It doesn't hurt to park in the grass.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it's something really small, almost like the parking that's up at Campbellton Park down at the river. That's only like 10 spaces or something, because right now I've never seen more than, unless it's a special event, I've seen maybe 3 cars all at once whenever I've been there, maybe, at least that's the way it is right now.
So in the future, we know we'll need parking and
Yeah.
a restroom, right? We've talked about that before. They
Mhm.
will
Oh,
have
yeah.
a restroom at
Eventually.
Hutchinson Ferry Park. Is that something we need now? Do we need to think about a porta potty, or are we okay for now?
Well, I think there's this other problem of electricity not even working at the moment.
Oh,
So
yes, that
to me,
needs to
it's
be on
part
the
of
list.
a bigger package. In terms of the current use hiking, I wouldn't prioritize a bathroom particularly. I would say that lines up with thinking about longer term occasional uses. In particular, it'd be great to have a bathroom when we have special events. And if we have special events there, we probably need electricity. So I'd kind of bundle them. I think of almost 2 bundles here. One bundle is like trail related, and that's like the trailhead sign is the main thing for
Mhm.
that. And also blocking, we still haven't blocked, right? Access to we made signs for the rock outcrop they're not there yet, right? So getting
Yeah, I
that
think,
done.
like I
getting
said, I think in the earlier part, Clifford, Daryl, in a few months ago, I think we put in for Daryl to order those, and he might have already ordered them.
So
So-
there's that bundle,
Yeah.
and then there's the bundle to me of the occasional bigger use. And for
Yeah.
that bundle, I would include electricity, bathroom. Those are high priorities.
Well, and I don't know if Robbie or Daryl can comment, but the power thing, I know there's power to the pole. I think it's just the meter and base and all that probably needs to be replaced. But the power company doesn't have to do anything. It's really having an electrician to add a new meter base and a new box there to plug into. And I think that's what I remember noticing there.
What was the drawing that we had at a meeting one time about that? Somebody had done a mock-up of potential what the uses were down there.
Oh, that was the thing.
have
the
a
big
master plan.
proposal. Yeah, that's the master plan.
Okay.
We
Yep.
have a master plan, very extensive
UGA.
master plan to have an
Yeah.
amphitheater and
Yeah.
support.
And we
parking
kind of
lot.
decided that the amphitheater would be kind of where it's at, right? That, and that we'd supplement with things like the trails at the time. So the trails was kind of the first part of that. They're on the master plan. And
Yeah, they were phase 1.
yep, and we've kind of completed that part of it. They're just
Sure.
not paved like they had on the master plan, but we've kind of completed that. So stage 2, I guess, would be, a pavilion with restrooms in it, right? Before the amphitheater thing idea would come, right?
Yeah.
But then,
We might just do porta potties. I mean,
yeah, we could.
Do
And
we
we
need
did
that
talk,
now,
we
or
did
is that
talk
just-
last year about
Something for the
looking at the
future.
idea, and I think Robbie even investigated the cost of it, those portable, the self-contained restroom that's got solar and, that it's kind of like a fancy giant porta potty because it's got a tank in it and it's still pumped out, but it needs electricity I think.
Sounds
So,
like we need to maybe allocate a special day to just do some long-term planning here, projections.
for Hudson
money,
Ferry?
Time, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do that.
We-
Yeah.
And if we're gonna do fences, if somebody's gonna come in and repair the fence that fell over, maybe we could put a fence between the main part of the park and the rock outcropping too.
Yes.
At least,
Yeah.
at least
When-
talk
when-
about it.
If when I get to my part, if y'all go through y'all's part, when I get to my part, I can cover, answer a lot of your questions.
Oh,
Okay,
good. Okay,
That's cool.
excellent. That's
Thank you,
fabulous.
Daryl.
All right, anything else for Hutchinson Ferry Park?
only one small thing. I'd like to cover the sign that says, please pay your parking fee or something.
Yeah, I was
What
thinking about
about,
that.
what about?
That's so
turning it into-
embarrassing.
I
when-
was actually gonna mention that.
and,
What about putting in a park donations box there?
uh,
I don't
We
know.
could.
I mean, enable.
I was just
people-
thinking to cover it for now.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the
when
quicker
pe-
route is to cover, but it
Just
might be
cover it.
nice to have a donations to support our parks there eventually. I mean.
Well, I mean, eventually,
We might not get anything, but
You know, for the kiosk, I mean, they have regular checks every, I don't know how often, Dana knows, the police go and collect the money. And at Hutchinson Ferry Park, you wouldn't want to just leave the money there. You'd have to have
No.
somebody official go and collect the money regularly. And I wonder if at this point,
yeah, it might not be worth it.
I'd rather get rid of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
personally
cover
think
it
that
up. It's just when new people come and they're trying to pay and they can't figure it out.
Well,
That's not
and
inviting.
another simple way to do that doesn't involve any of that is to have, it would be a lot easier, is to have on the sign for the park trailhead, to have a little cute QR code that you can scan to support our parks, to donate
Exactly.
here. That'd be really
that's
cool.
better.
And then you
Yeah.
just have a scannable QR code. And anybody who comes, I'd love to support, they'd love to donate,
That'd be
um,
better. Yeah.
that would do the same thing. And it would get rid of all the hassle with it.
Pat, how would you cover that sign?
Oh, right now, I'd just put a trash bag over it. But
Right. So is there any problems? Anybody have a problem with us doing that? Okay, good. Let's
or
do it.
even something more substantial, just sew a bag and put it over it or something.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
believe
can
that
turn
would
it
I
be,
can do,
Trash
I can do
bag.
something with it since I'm close by. I don't mind.
Thank you. Thank you, Roland.
I'm
That's fair.
5 minutes away or whatever. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Rico Park.
Can-
Here's Rico Need.
can-
And I know
Well, we-
Miss Diana, can you hear?
you're
You're
in and
breaking
out,
up, kind of in and out.
breaking out. Yeah.
No, can't hear you.
Yeah, we're not hearing anything, Daryl. I wonder if he can hear us.
Okay.
Rico,
Can you hear me now? No?
yes,
Am I-
Yeah.
Go
oh, but you're breaking up.
ahead.
Yeah,
Go
don't,
ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, Rico Park.
Just go ahead.
Anybody
I'll-
want to
I'll
suggest it
catch
for
up
Rico?
in-
Okay. So one thing that kind of dropped out of sight
Okay.
was the pavilion.
And I think, I think Daryl was going to talk about that. So
Okay,
when he gets to a place that we can hear him, we'll talk about the pavilion. Yes, we definitely need to talk about that. Anything else for Rico Park?
oh, for Rico Park?
Rico,
Well, obviously the continuing challenge of the children's trail there, which really does need some overhauling. Those this beautiful legacy that Judy has left us. Those footwalks there, if you can easily twist an ankle on trying to walk them right now. There's definitely some work that needs to be done on the trail beyond routine maintenance. And we talked about, wouldn't it be great to have a scout come out for a project? But in the interim, that hasn't happened. So do we have a plan? I think it would be good to have some sort of.
Well, I have an idea for a group to do that. And I was going to briefly talk about them at my part. I got Pete Edmondson asked me a couple of weeks ago if we were interested in having, they have a kids bike group. There's 40 of them. It's called the Chattahoochee Grippers, and they're highly interested and motivated in working in the parks. And they're kids, they're teenagers, so they would be a great resource for that because they're motivated to do it as opposed to someone as a project. And they have parents, they're also want to do it. And they're what they want is they want to be able to put the hours in like the MTV does, and the parents might get a free parking pass out of them volunteering to do the work at the parks. And I thought that was a great idea. And most of them are local kids that live here anyway. So it'd be really good, a learning experience for them. And so if there's anything that we want, like think they could do, like say, just, do some trail maintenance at Rico Park, Hudson Ferry, even Cockrell Mill, then that would be a good resource for that. I think that Rico Park would be great for kids to do some of that. So
it would, and it's small enough that, they could feel a real sense of accomplishment because they could
absolutely. And so these are
up.
8-year-olds up to 17-year-olds, and I think there's 40 in that group. The Chattahoochee Grippers are what they're called.
That's a great idea, Roland.
Yeah, and he said they were interested. So
We'd have to have a plan laid out ahead of time, so they definitely would have structure when they got there and know what they were going to do.
yeah, I was going to talk about that during my part because the first thing they were interested in doing was completing the trails at Hudson Ferry with us, like helping clear the last bit and smoothing things out, and they want to do that. And I thought, well, that'd be great, that'd be fine. I certainly could lay that out for them with Pete at Hudson Ferry, but I think Rico Park needs to come more from Daryl, like what he wants done with a volunteer group of kids, maybe, and that would help, since that's kind of like the crown jewel of the Rico community is the park there. So,
That's great, Roland. That is excellent.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything else?
If you want me to get how you want to go about getting that done, do you want me to just get a plan together or for this?
Yeah. And,
Right.
and if you and Pete
Mhm.
would sort of figure out what they need to do, because you know better than anybody what
Yeah,
they ought to do, if you would come up with a plan and
yeah.
Okay.
So, and we've all walked Rico, the park, so we know about the stone. It's really the stones that are the problem there. They need something just kind of to clean them up somewhat so they're
And-
not trip hazards.
and
so.
coordinate with Daryl, because I know
Mhm.
he does a lot too. So
Absolutely.
make sure what you're
Um,
planning doesn't interfere.
And there were a couple down trees, or have those been taken care of? I haven't been back since.
Yes, well, I have a crew that goes over there and take care of all that. So we was just behind, like I said in the emails, went back and forth, that we have a long list of things that we have to do in the city. And when the storms come through, when them trees get knocked down, they're not like really a priority. Roads are priority, then we get on them as soon as we can. So they've been taken care of. They're noted and what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Right.
So Daryl,
Yes, sir.
I do, and cut most of the trees on the other parks, on the trails off the, that aren't in
Yes,
the
sir.
more public
Yes, sir.
areas. If you
Yes,
guys
sir.
ever want us, the people that do the trail maintenance to do some of that at Rico Park, we're more than happy to. So
I know that. I know that. And anytime, just like the Rico ball field stuff,
Mhm.
that y'all are talking about. Yeah, you know me. All you have to do is what you and Pete want to do. Just get with me. Like I said in my emails back and forth about a week ago, any volunteer that wants to volunteer, I have crews that are out every day, all the time. Plus,
cool.
we'll talk about the Rangers thing this weekend when I come up to my my part of the meeting.
Okay,
So,
good. Okay.
Yeah, we got plans coming up. So I know y'all have a lot of questions, and sometimes when y'all do all the discussion and the topics and stuff, when I get to mine, I have a lot of answers to all these questions. So if y'all just ask the questions and mark them down, and when I get to my part, hopefully I'll answer them. If not, after I do my part, then you can ask if I missed something.
Yeah,
More
just
than
don't
glad to.
move
I
wherever you
appreciate
are
the
right
work you
now.
do. I know.
All right.
Yeah, I drove up I'm under a cell tower.
Oh, good.
If this don't work, I'm in big trouble.
That's a very dramatic picture of you too.
Yeah, you look
Well,
fantastic.
Yeah,
Like one of those old Dutch master paintings.
Oh,
it does
yeah,
actually. I'm gonna take a
Rembrandt, yeah.
snapshot.
Say hello
Take a
there.
snapshot
Say
of that.
hello.
All right, Campbellton Park. What do we need at Campbellton Park?
I think that Clifford said he wanted to study and document the wetlands.
Yeah, I mean, that would be wonderful.
You're talking about at Campbellton or
That's more
Riverlands?
Riverlands. Riverlands is the.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Riverlands.
No,
Oh,
we're talking about
Campbellton
Campbellton.
first, then
Oh,
River.
Campbellton. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong park.
Is there anything that Campbellton needs? Trust for Public Land,
Um,
of course, is planning a lot, and so,
Well, the only thing yeah, other than that really is some trash cleanup, but that's coming with Sweet the Hooch.
excellent,
So that's coming up.
good.
So we'll be focusing on Cocker Mill Park and that whole area for Sweet the Hooch for trash pickup. So I guess you could include that as part that's coming up in
All right.
March.
All right, and
So-
that is on the agenda. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, so that'd be
Riverlands
Campbellton.
Park, anything we need there besides what Trust for Public Land has committed to do?
Well, I mean, I definitely would like, I'm still been trying to get, I have to call these professors when they're in season, when they're not at the end.
Right.
I called them last spring, right as the end of the year happened. I really would love to get a better sense of what that wetland there is all about. There's a lot of native plants there that I hadn't seen before. I was able to key them out. I mean, they're not scarce, but it does suggest that the lowland area there on the other side is relatively undisturbed. There's just about no invasive plants there. There's a lot of wildlife there. That is a pretty cool area. Looking long term, it's not really developable anyway. My biggest concern would be, in light of the fact that there will be future development, keeping aware that we don't want drainage of like chemicals used in ball fields to go into that wetland, for instance. So my biggest concern is just identifying that area and having a better picture of what's there. It would be wonderful. How healthy is it? It looks like it's very healthy. But again, I would love to get some professors actually to tell me, oh, this is in what terms of its condition and situation. I would love to do that this upcoming year.
Only if the chemicals kill privet.
There's no privet there. There is nothing down in that. And once you get down to the
Definitely.
lowlands, there's quite a few acres of beautiful wetland that's kind of
Yeah.
pools interspersed with slightly higher land. That
You're
unless
correct.
you have a heavy rainfall, you could still walk there with boots on at least.
Right.
And there's
Yep.
a lot along, even on the slope going down there, there's a wide variety of unusual native plants. So right where those old beech trees are on down,
Right.
that area is really is cool treasure. That really is again, no invasives to speak of at all there, which tells me that hasn't been disturbed much in a while.
Yeah, it's not like that on the other side. Whew. That
No,
privet
it's-
over there
That
is
is
like,
a neat area, and I'd love to just, whatever planning goes in, I'd love to identify that as an area to be handled, just kind of like the equivalent to the outcrop as an area of particular ecological value.
Wonderful. Anything else?
I got a question and a comment about for the year about I noticed the old house, the Varner place, had some windows busted out recently. The last time I was over there about a month ago when I went on a hike, I noticed that. I don't know if Daryl, if you guys had noticed that someone had been in, looks like they had been in the house. There was
I
a
have not
missing
seen.
window.
I haven't.
Yeah,
I
you
have
might,
not.
unless you actually walked up around the house, you wouldn't notice it. So I don't know if we need to fix any of that to keep vandals out or not. So I don't know if that's something to worry about. I guess once in 2 years, when the kiosk and all that stuff's put in over there from the Trust for Public Land, that'll be less of a problem. Because
Yep.
it's more, yeah.
Yes,
So-
sir.
Because the park will be used.
Yes, yeah. I know the house isn't gonna make it. I mean, it's just in too bad a shape. Everybody knows that, so. But it is definitely, if people are in it, I was more worried about that there's vandals in there or somebody stopped and's been in the house. So,
is there any signage there, just telling people to stay out of the house?
Well, it's fenced off and has a gate, so that should,
Yep.
that
Nobody's
should be
supposed to
alone
open.
enough. That should be tell you not to be, you're not supposed to be in there, you know?
Yeah, it's really not open. At this point, it's just really not open.
No.
So it's in a process. So there, if anybody goes in there, they're on their own, you
Yep.
know, trespass.
Yeah, does that mean even like official parks, commission people that happen to
That's-
walk down
yep.
there to?
Yeah, that includes you, Roland.
Okay. I'm
You're
not saying
welcome
that I
anytime.
have been there. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
All right, any other priorities that we haven't discussed? All right, good, thank you. We've got a long list. Next is the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant. And I know some of you participated in the webinar to learn how to do an application for that grant. So tell me who, raise your hand if you participated in that webinar. Pat and Clifford and Robbie.
I forgot. I feel terrible.
I attended it too as well. It's Chris.
You
Chris.
did, Chris. Okay, that is fabulous. I am
I feel
so
awful.
pleased that you did that. I'm going to ask if you have any ideas about what we should apply for, but first let me say that this grant is administered by the Department of Natural Resources, and they administer 3 different grants. One of them is this one, the webinar for the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Then there's a Recreational Trails Program grant, which we have applied for 4 times, and we got the grant twice.
Wow.
And then there's the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program grant. And so if you know how to do an application for this grant, the Land and Water Conservation Grant, you really know how to do an application for all of them, because all of the applications are very, very similar. And so great, you've learned a lot. If you did that seminar, you've learned a whole lot. You can see it's a pretty involved process to do the grants. And let me just say there's a difference. What's different, the application isn't much different, but the grants are different. So the one that we just had a webinar on, the Land and Water Conservation Grant, is a dollar for dollar match, which means if you applied for the maximum amount, which is $500,000, you would have to come up with we would have to come up with a $500,000 match, so that the match is 50% of the total project. The total project would be $1 million. The match would be 500,000. For the RTP grant, which is the one we applied for before, the maximum you can apply for is 200,000. And that requires a 20% match. So the match for that would be 50,000. You get 200,000, you have to match it with 50,000. That would be a $250,000 grant, total project. And so 50,000 is 20% of 250,000. And then the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program grant, the most you can apply for is $3 million. And the match is 25%. And so if you applied for a $3 million grant, you would need a $1 million match. So some of them you get a lot more without having to do such a big match. So we need to think about that. If we're going to apply for one, we need to think about which one is the best fit for Chattahoochee Hills, because I think since DNR administers all of them, I think it's not likely that they're going to give us more than one. So we need to choose carefully which one we would really want. So, and then the other thing, for those of you who did not do the webinar, the timeline, if we started working on this grant right now and had it ready to submit the application in May, which is the deadline, then the earliest we would hear whether or not we got the grant would be September of 2024. So it's almost a 2-year process.
Wow.
And work that we do can count towards the match after we've got the grant. But if we do anything before we get the grant, that doesn't count, the money we spend. So anyway, if we're going to apply for one of these, we need to choose a project that we feel like we can wait 2 years before we even start it.
So are they all on that sort of timeline?
Pretty much, yes. They're
Okay.
all
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
much on that
Makes
timeline.
sense.
And I think that the applications for RTP and Georgia Outdoor Stewardship will probably be in the fall. That's when they usually are, like August or something like that. But I think actually the Georgia legislature has to vote on it, and they haven't done that yet. So I think they can't actually announce it. Although I did see that they're expected, like for the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program, that there would be 30 million this year for that one. Those funds come from taxes on sales of recreational equipment. So if you buy something at REI or that the taxes from that, 40% of the taxes that go for outdoor stewardship. So that's a big fund. That's a lot of money. Go ahead, Roland.
Can I ask, are one of those grants able to be used for an ADA trail at Cockrell Mill? You know?
Yes.
I mean,
Probably any of them could.
mhm.
Because the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant can be for either acquiring land or developing land or rehabilitating a project.
Wow.
And so, and RTP, you know, is all about trails. So that might be the best fit. And that's the one
Yeah,
with
because I was thinking, you know, out of all the projects that we have or ideas, you know, the funding for that, it's tricky. I mean, it's expensive because it's got to be professionally done as opposed to just being volunteers building it. And, you know,
Oh, because it's ADA?
yeah, because it's ADA, you got drainage and surfaces, and you got, you know, handicap bathrooms or accessible bathrooms and stuff like that. For a project like that would be expensive, you know.
And I do think that in terms of, I mean, to me, one of the big selling points is going to be establishing need. And I think, Roland, your idea, we could definitely say there's need. There's nothing here. We have all these parks, and there's really no way for those persons with disabilities, and you could even look at the demographics of our community, and you could say there's a, you know, we could pull that in as well. I think we could make a really strong need argument that there's really there's nothing like it. There isn't even, like, if you go to Tyrone, there's a path around the little pond, the fountain. It's not very much, but there's always a lot of people using it, you know. There's nothing even like that in our community. In fact, that is probably the closest for someone who is wheelchair bound here. That may very well be the closest opportunity they have. I mean, we certainly know that most of Serenity isn't particularly ADA. So it seems to me like there's nothing in terms of outdoor recreational opportunities for persons.
I regret that I did not do the webinar, so I didn't see the details.
I bet you can find it. I think it's probably there.
She said all the PowerPoint was going to be on the website.
May not be there yet, but
no, not yet.
But I think I second this idea of Roland's. I think that's a fantastic, because the need is there.
But we might want to go with the RTP just because it's only 20% match.
Correct.
Yeah, but what's the max amount you can get for
200,000?
You know, if we look into it, come up with a proposal and have an idea what it's going to cost us.
Can something like that, is any of that, like the parking area, in any way supportable by hotel and motel money, for instance? Because I know the traditional model is to use labor as the primary balance. And
can you use hotel motel tax for a match or not?
Yeah.
It sounded like it.
Something that can handle that would be great, because, and I know also they don't like bathrooms being, for instance, being a big part. The one thing I did get out of it is, like, you can do those are supplemental. That's not the main focus going to be. So if we can,
well, if it's ADA, it's like an entire trail system that's, you know, the kiosk and bathrooms are part of the trail system. So maybe
they allow that sort of.
They allow that, then the biggest expense there is going to be a parking and, of course, a bathroom, accessible bathrooms. You know, so
it would be good. This is much more minor, but it'd be good to put in some sort of connector trail. And I know, Roland, we looked at a couple possibilities coming down the slope or along the road.
Well, yeah, that would be part of the whole trail
partly
design.
so that those who are walkers could also avail themselves of the bathrooms there too. I mean, they can, you know.
Well, yeah,
but
that would
also
be
they
your
can-
additional bathrooms for, it's walk for, the park that, you know, we only have basically two bathrooms. So it would be nice to be able to have two more on the other side of the park, you know, and that
So
would.
that they would be in lieu of the others.
Huh. Oh, that's nice.
All right, so that is I think that's a cool idea. And
Okay.
I agree that an ADA trail, basically a loop, something that's easy
Yes.
to do, something that's probably paved so that it's easy
Yep.
and fairly level. I think you're right that the community definitely needs that.
Yeah, so
let's make a
would
plan.
that, so you said the deadline for those is in the fall? for
We don't
most of
have it. That's usually when it's done, but it's not official yet. So we'll have to
Okay.
wait and see. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
yet.
What is, Robbie, what's the max that you can get hotel motel fund from? If you have to do matching, you obviously can't do $200,000, so.
Yeah, and you guys are gonna be about, well, 43.75% lower because we have the Convention and Visitors Bureau now. So they're taking a larger chunk of the money.
Oh,
But I say that because the money right now is going to Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau at 32.14%. It's going to jump up to 43.75% when we go to 8% tax rate. So there's a little more taxes, but that's going to be, you know, I guess what I'm saying is the tourism development product money is still going to be for parks and tourism and such, but it may be a little bit more limited because you have a 9-member bureau now that's going to weigh in on projects and stuff. So, you know, I think it'd be a good idea for, you know, you guys to
Wow.
work together too on joint projects because you're working towards the same thing, tourism.
oh,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
And by the way, I mean, because look, this is a very, very robust group of people on this Convention and Visitors Bureau, and you probably get some help with grant writing and stuff. I mean, nobody's going to be as good as Diana, but you probably get some help with a lot of stuff because they're
We would
on
love
board.
help.
They are
Oh,
on
yeah.
board. They're engaged, and they're
Would
ready to
love
move
help.
forward.
That's
Yeah.
a
And this,
great
well, this would be
idea.
a project. It's hard to say no. I mean, it's really is hard to say no to the idea.
Yeah.
that we're trying to expand past, you know, passive outdoor recreation to a sector of the population that is very much in need. And certainly from the standpoint of tourism, it'll mean that people, you know, can bring grandfather along on the, you know, it can be grandfathered in along on the trip, right? You know, but the point, but so this would also be a chance for us to work with that new group and to establish a connection with it. So sounds
Is
great.
there Robbie, is there a sponsor in either, is there a liaison city council member for this group or not? Is there anyone in city other than
No.
us that, no?
No, yeah, each council member has an appointment to the board, and then there's a hotelier and such, but I'm currently the staff liaison working with them right now.
Oh, you are? Okay, so you
right.
would be our
Yeah.
connection then. Okay,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm your connection.
Wow, that's pretty
Thank you.
exciting. So, yeah, like I said, I wish I had seen the webinar. So maybe whenever anybody finds out that it's available, you know, to watch or whatever, I'd love to get a recap by watching it myself. So,
Yeah, they'll release
Okay.
the PowerPoint. Absolutely.
okay, that'd be
Hey,
super
Rob-
cool.
Hey, Robbie,
Yes,
are
sir.
we broken any connection with Fulton County as far as helping us support the park? Is that, since it's a city park? Are there any grants available? We're talking about matching for these other grants. Is there any possibility there?
No, but Bear Creek, I don't know if you heard, Bear Creek Nature Center, they're getting
That's the
about
reason I asked.
$700,000. So
Yeah.
that's, but
Wow.
no, yeah,
From
we're
Fulton County?
from Fulton County, yeah.
Share the wealth, Bear
Yeah.
Creek.
Oh, tell the whole story though. We're going after 100.
Right,
700. Yeah.
700.
Michael
Like
Hightower has helped us out. Well, there's a lot of people involved, wasn't just him, but
Wow.
So you mean like
Yeah,
Marvin?
Michael Hightower is cool. Yeah.
You're talking about Marvin Arrington, right?
oh,
It used-
sorry, wrong.
It used to be
wrong
Michael
process.
Hightower,
Right,
yeah.
right.
It was a,
Yeah, because I
Makes
started
up-
thinking Michael Hightower went to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately.
but no, yeah, you got 500 in capital and 200 in operations, I think is what they said. So, yeah. And
Yeah,
we
he was,
we gave him $10,000, and I feel kind of bad. Like, we only gave him 10, they gave him 700, but they got a lot more
No,
money
no,
than
no,
us.
keep it coming, keep it
They
coming.
stole
By the
all
way,
our
I'm on
local
the board of
officers.
directors there, so I've got a vested interest here.
Absolutely, we're glad to see it. Glad to see it.
All right, that's great. Thank you for those ideas. Next, the Cochrane Mill Park Ranger Station, Robbie.
Gotta get back on video here. Just try. Well, you've seen it. Thank you, Chip, for posting some pictures and such on Facebook. Those look great. Better than ones I kind of put in my newsletter. But this is a project that we talked about last year, and I did a little bit of research and try to look. I know nothing about sheds. I had to get with Daryl to ask his expertise on it and such. So I picked out the colors. And I felt safe in doing that. But they met with the installer last week, and they put it out there, and they got the rock formation, and it's work in progress right now. But I look at this as this is your ranger station. Okay, I want the Parks Commission to have a key and access to this, because when you're at the park working and doing stuff, maybe have some small equipment in there, but it's going to be more office centered. We'll put like a mini fridge in there so you can have some drinks and snacks or
That'd be
something,
great.
and brochures. This is not just a city staff type of deal. To me, it's a Parks Commission amenity for you guys to facilitate your operations out of. And we got to outfit it. We got to heat and air thing, what's it called, a mini split, going to be put in there. Daryl's going to coordinate the installation of electrical, because we have electrical. It's got a power box and such with lights and power, and we need that. And maybe some furniture. I'm not talking about couches and stuff. I'm just talking about some chairs and desks. And the staff had a great idea, put some Adirondack chairs on the outside in the fire pit, and
Oh, how cool is that?
we'll sit out there
Wow.
watching football in the fall or something like that. But it's limited by only your imagination. But yeah, I'm seriously, any ideas you guys have, we want this to be where people come to the park and they need some information. We might have a sign on the door say, Rangers out, be back at 2 or something like that.
Are we going to get rangers again, or is that?
We do. We have one. Daryl's found one, and it's
Okay.
going to come and help us out. And what you want, Crummy? It's going to help us out for now. And we've been having police officers out there, helping out with security and such. But we're going to have a ranger. But again, it's you guys your volunteers are always available and always out there. And I just want you to have this amenity for you as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Thank you. Wow.
Thank
that's
you,
awesome.
Robbie.
Didn't know
You
it was
did a
available.
great
for
job
us.
with those colors. It looks perfect.
Yeah, I have to get over there and
Perfect.
see it. So
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's really
Yeah.
very nice. It's going to be very comfortable, isn't it? Didn't you say you insulated it?
We got such a deal on it. I got a discount, and we buy stuff and coupons, and I negotiated and such, and we got such a better deal on it that I was able to afford to put the installation in it. I mean, it's not finished inside or anything like that, but Daryl's got the keys. I want to get one in your hand so you guys can go look at it and check it out. And look, any ideas you have that what you say, hey, we need this, we need this kind of chair, we need this type of desk, whatever. Just let me know, and we'll take it and run with it.
Well, I can think right away, all the hand tools and stuff that I use personally over there all the time. They're a pain in the butt to drag over there.
Yeah.
And it'd be great to leave them there and have a little closet or something where that stuff can go. So it can be.
There's no closet in it. It's all open space.
Oh, is it? Is there a place you
Yes.
could put hand tools, like small tools and stuff, or?
We'd had to get one of them little you have beside a pool or something, one of them boxes where you lift, you can put small stuff.
Oh, that'd be
a little shelf
great.
or
That'd be
something.
awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, it's completely open.
That'd be cool.
There's no walls, there's outside walls, but there's no interior walls.
Can I sleep in it?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely hang a hammock up in there, and we just take a siesta.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you.
I was just also
Fabulous.
thinking when we have the volunteer days, which hopefully those are going to start back once a month. It'd be great, a place where everybody meets there and,
And that's our next item, Roland.
yeah.
Tell us about the next volunteer trail
Oh,
maintenance.
okay, great. Yeah, I'll be really quick because I know we're behind now. We've got, actually, it's this coming Sunday for the first time in 2 years. 2 o'clock this Sunday. Ooh, nice pictures. We are having a work day, volunteer work day at Cochrane Mill Park. So, trail maintenance spread out. I don't know how many people we'll get. We might get a good crowd. I need to post that. It's too late to post it on the city website. We just planned it like last week.
So that's Sunday at 2, is that right?
Sunday at 2. If anybody wants to, I'll post it on the Facebook Trails page, which I don't know if anyone noticed. I changed the name of that to
You
be
did?
Chattahoochee Hills Trails, since it kind of covers everything instead of just Cochrane Mill Trails. But I'll post it on there. We have over 2,000 members of that now, by the way,
Amazing.
on that Facebook page. It reaches far and wide. So and then in the same vein, I mentioned it earlier, the Chattahoochee Grippers, which is the kids mountain bike group that MTBA kind of started. They are interested in doing maintenance and stuff. And so the first project for them, I don't have a date yet, will be at Hudson Ferry Park. They're going to finish up the last bit of trail at the end of the park, which connects the very end, which is right now is there. It's just kind of rough. That they're going to help finish that out. The kids are.
Wonderful.
And Pete did ask, and I believe it still stands, Robbie or Dana, that if they do so many hours, the standing thing is if somebody that doesn't live in the city does so many hours of work on the trails, they get a free parking pass. Is that still available to offer?
I think it was 8 hours, which would
It's
be
8 hours. Okay.
work days, usually 2 work
Yeah,
days.
it's usually 2 work days. So people that show up, and then so that'll be there's usually a list. We'll do a list on Sunday for those folks, and we'll have pizza. We always do pizza, and whoever shows up gets free pizza at the end.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think MTBA pays for that since they have the MOU with Cochrane Mill Park. So
Okay, great. That's excellent. I'm glad we're going to do trail work.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, it'll be fun. I think it's supposed to be drizzly maybe, but it's not supposed to rain Sunday. So yeah.
All right,
So,
everyone,
like I said-
tell us about the walk behind brush cutter.
Oh yeah, I mentioned it.
That was 2 o'clock Sunday, right? This Sunday.
Yep, 2 o'clock this
Yes.
Sunday.
Okay, sorry.
So it should be after church for everybody, and yep, hopefully it'll be a nice afternoon. Yeah, I mentioned this before. I think I asked about it, and I think Daryl and Robbie were receptive to the idea, because I've been using my equipment at the parks quite a bit, and it's a lot of wear and tear on it. Was wondering if the city could get a walk behind brush cutter
Yes,
for the
Yes,
parks.
yes. I'm gonna put it on my budget for when we send out for a retreat, my yearly capital budget stuff. I'm gonna have it in there so we can make sure you get that.
Thank you so much. That would be big help, because I had last year I busted up some stuff and I had to get it fixed, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
this year won't have to do
Yes,
that.
Definitely.
I remember you
Definitely.
saying you need more of a commercial grade one than a home grade
Yep.
one.
I'll make
Yeah,
sure he
because
gets
mine
exactly what
mine
he
is
needs.
more of a
Good.
home grade one, and that's why it kind of took so much wear and tear on it. Just something a little more commercial. Do we have an account with Pete's or not?
Well, what we'll have to do is it depends on the price. We do have
Oh,
an
okay.
account with them.
Oh,
We
okay,
do have an
good.
account, but there is I have a threshold of money that I can spend at one time.
Got
So
it.
I'll make sure
Okay.
that we get the
Yeah,
best.
because I
deal
know
for
they've
the money.
started selling. I know Troy started selling the more commercial stuff of those walk behind brush cutters now, whereas before they only had the kind of homeowner stuff. So at least you could see them there, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right, and we have a purchasing policy, so if it's over a certain amount,
Mhm.
Daryl will have to get quotes from different people, that sort
Oh,
of thing.
okay. As opposed to just getting it. Okay. No, that's super cool. That would be awesome. Thanks for reminding me of that, Diana.
Okay.
I can't remember what else I put in there. I don't have my notes in front of me. So anything else?
Later, you're going to talk about a music festival at Hutchinson Ferry Park, and later you're going to talk about Sweep the Hooch. But right now, we're going to talk about the first day hike at Hutchinson Ferry Park, and Pat's going to do that.
Great.
Well, yeah, it was really fun. And 13 people came out. It was something that Roland suggested and made a flyer for and advertised. And one dog came as well. And one really great thing was that of the people who came, 6 had never been in Hutchinson Ferry Park before. So I thought that was really nice to, get some more people involved and interested. Perfect day. There'll be something in the newsletter coming up to see the nice pictures and everything.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
And it
Yeah,
would be, I think it would be a great thing to do every year, maybe different parks, just to introduce people to what's available and, start the year right? Get out, hike, yay. So anyway, it was a really fun event.
Pat has written a really nice article for the Chat Hills newsletter. And Chip had some really nice photos. And I believe
Oh, yeah.
the cover of the next newsletter will be one of Chip's photos.
Oh, how awesome.
Yeah. So thank you both. Thank you all. Almost everybody got to come. That was fabulous. All right. Now, Roland, the Hutchinson Ferry Park Music Festival proposal.
Yep, I had talked about it last year, because a couple of people had asked about it at the Porch Fest at Serenbe about doing a bluegrass festival, and then I started thinking a roots festival as opposed to bluegrass, it'd be cover roots music, local musicians, and at Hudson Ferry Park, like we did the movie night, basically. But talking to Clifford about it in the last few weeks, we were thinking about, it could be pointed to do it in the fall, perhaps, if possible, as opposed to being earlier. And we could combine that with kind of a arts and crafts there, kind of a celebration, with a tent or something. We could do the music, arts, and then maybe a couple of stages. I've got several bands that are already interested in it, and I thought, obviously we have to get a sponsor from City Council. I'm hoping we can get Ruby interested in sponsoring that through City Council and setting something up. I think that's enough time.
Yeah, I would
Hey,
think you
Ann-
should talk to her soon though, because she sets her calendar well ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna give you the inside. Robbie's working on a portable stage for. Shh. Don't
Oh
tell
my
nobody.
gosh, how awesome. No,
One of them
no,
like that
thank
we
you.
use.
Don't
Like
put
the
that
ones
on the
we've been
record.
using From Fulton County.
Oh, that's
He's
awesome.
working really. It's a secret. He's been working really hard on that,
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
but it's a surprise.
Okay. Well, I talked to a friend of mine who does events like that, like music events. And he suggested, that you have like a stage, like a portable stage, but then you have a
Yeah.
smaller stage on the side that in between bands.
Oh, yeah.
You have
Yep.
the other bands already
Side band.
performing. Exactly.
Yep.
And that would be
That's
more
right.
like the acoustic set, on that small
Yep.
stage, and then the other stage for larger acts.
You're right.
So
Way we do it.
That's
Yeah.
exciting. That's
Yeah, I think it's exciting too. I've been thinking more and more about it. I think it would be really fun
Right,
to
let's
do
do it.
and get
And
the
I'd
entire.
love to, I'd love to
One more
reprise
event.
what we did a few years ago, what was done many years ago, and have a parks photography contest. And the winners potentially is displayed as part of this too. I thought that would be kind of a fun
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You
fun
did
thing to
mention
do
that.
as well in conjunction with all this.
Yeah, we could have it as part of, arts and crafts or something like that. Just make it a Saturday, full day, community event. I think it could attract a lot of people. And
There's a group that
So
comes
Clifford-
down there on a regular basis. They bring a van. I've seen them down there 3 or 4 times. It's a photography group that just comes down there and tours and takes pictures.
at Hudson Ferry Park. Oh,
No,
wow.
I'm sorry, this is Cocker Mill Park.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some professional photographers down there too.
But
Yeah,
we could get them over there, I'm sure.
yeah. Why
But
not?
Clifford, are you saying the contest would be, anybody could submit photos of any park and then they would be judged and get awards?
So the parks in our system, yes. Any of the open parks, obviously, Riverlands, we wouldn't mention at this point,
Oh, yeah.
but the open parks, and it could even it might be kind of neat to break it up by park. obviously that might get some other people into Hutchinson Ferry and these other parks, visiting these other parks. It's like, oh,
Very
there's
good.
this other one. I think it'd be kind of cool. I think it would be help people realize, wow, we're more than just. Oh, you have a T-shirt that says that. More than just Cochrane
Yeah,
Mill
can't-
Park.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah, can't you
huge
just
tract
pick-
of land.
Hey, can't you just picture that? Can't you just picture that? There you go, buddy. I have one.
Yeah, I was
Alright.
thinking, when Clifford mentioned that, when we did the 10-year celebration at Hudson Ferry, Laurie organized that photo contest. And we had judges for it, and
That'd be cool.
that was a cool thing. Yeah, I thought so too. So
I can't believe it. Well, I will say it. We can reach out to her. Maybe she's interested in helping with the photography.
oh yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
All right, sweep the hooch, Roland.
Oh yeah, Sweep the Hooch is coming up March. Diana, help me with the date again. It's
25th, March 25th.
March 25th. They had the registration's not open yet, but I've registered Campbellton Park with Chattahoochee Riverkeeper already. I think me and Diana are leads for that. Diana usually does the canoe kayak, and I do the land part. And we will definitely, when it comes up, if anybody's interested in being co-leads on the from the Parks Commission or City Council or staff, that's welcome. The more the better. And then I'll send everybody out info about when you can register to do it. It's great fun if you guys haven't. It always is. You get to meet new people. We get volunteers from different places, that come out. So we are expanding it. We'd like to expand it this year in Campbellton Park and go all the way down 92 to under the bridge there to pick up trash because that's been a sore spot. It's still in the city limits of Chattahoochee Hills under there. So it'll just kind of be, there'll probably be a couple volunteers that concentrate down there this year. So
before you even ask, Roland, yes, of course you can use the roll off at the in the yard.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna see if Riverkeeper
Every year,
will get a
remember,
dumpster
every
again.
year.
Yeah, they might get a
Yep, and if
dumpster
they
for it.
don't,
We can do that.
right, and if they don't, every year from this day forward, you can always use our
Okay.
roll off. You don't
Thank
even
you,
have
Daryl.
issues. Let me know you're coming. Yeah,
Okay.
that's y'all. That's huge for us. That's
Okay.
y'all doing for us. So we are us. We are
Okay.
us.
No,
The
that's
roll off
awesome.
is us.
And I want to say I got a nice compliment for Daryl and his crew. This was from Matthew Robinson, and he's a guy who takes people out fishing. What do you call that? A guide, I guess. And he does it all up and down the Chattahoochee, and he does it like Altoona, and he does it, in the ocean, all this stuff. Anyway, he sent me a little text. This was sent on January 12th. He said, I went down and used your boat ramp today. It was so nice. Y'all are doing a great job of keeping it cleared off. So thank you, Daryl. I know
Yes,
that's a lot of
definitely.
work,
Thank
but
you.
people
It's
notice that
appreciated.
you do that.
Oh yeah,
It's
we
hard
get
to do with all the
compliments.
rain we're getting. A lot
Well,
of rain lately, and it sure is hard to stay on top of that.
I've been doing several sweeps during the year with Chattahoochee Riverkeeper myself on the side, and every time we come to that boat ramp, it's like compared to 166 or the other ones, it's so much nicer. So that's
you.
usually what we take out.
Daryl, you make the city look good. You make us all look good because you keep.
We all make us look good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
All right, the next item is the Riverlands and Campbellton Park invasive removal. So you may remember that Audubon said they were going to do that a couple months ago, and then they canceled.
Yeah.
But now they've got it planned to do it again. And actually their plan is to be at Riverlands Park today and tomorrow.
What?
And
Oh,
then
no.
at Campbellton Park, Thursday and Friday of this week. And I said, do you need volunteers? And they said, no, we don't need volunteers. So, okay.
Wow.
So you might want to go by and see how they're doing. But anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
evidently they've got enough volunteers to do that.
I guess it's a privet project.
Yeah.
The next
Yeah,
item,
I was one of those that showed up at the last one and nobody was there.
yeah,
I do
evidently,
recall.
and I did tell TPL about that, and they said, that Audubon had scheduled it, and they didn't realize Audubon didn't let you know they canceled it, and they
Okay.
were sorry that happened. Okay, next is the Rico Park Pavilion. Daryl, do you want to talk about that now? I've got that on the agenda now.
Yes, ma'am. It is on the discussion for the retreat, mayor and council retreat for discussion.
cool.
It is, that'll be presented at the retreat.
Wow.
Cool. And when is the retreat?
Robbie,
Let me get my video.
there you
The
go. We hear you.
retreat is going to be either Thursday or Friday, February 23rd or 24th. They're kind of choosing between one of those days.
Okay. Excellent. That's wonderful. Thank you, Daryl. B City USA report, Clifford.
Yeah, I just posted the current URL of Chat Hills B City. I just confirmed it was up and running as of the meeting the other day. They were having some glitches. Those glitches are fixed. The meeting it was a very brief meeting. There were only a few folks there. In fact, Valerie was there and I was not. But basically, it was discussed that the current URL is a .com, and wouldn't it be nice to have a .gov or .org, and also that this needs to link back to the city website. So it's very much a work in progress, but you can look it up. You can view it. There's some cool, innovative, fun aspects to it. The Allison who's designing it is integrating a lot of fun, creative things. For instance, for the area to subscribe, it says join the hive, and then you can click on that to subscribe to the site. So there's artwork, events, resources, contact, etc. Start a project. It looks really neat, and I'm excited to see where that goes. There's a solicitation for pollinator photos to add to the website. You can send, there's gonna be a Dropbox set up for the members of the B City, but if anyone in the Parks Commission has some fun local pollinator photos and would like to get them to me, I'll direct them to the B City group when that Dropbox is set up. It has not been set up yet. And there's plans to get the B City signs at the Welcome to Chat Hills locations around the city. There's going to be, and maybe Chip can speak more to this through his liaison, through his connections with the Nature Center. There's going to be a Nature Center pollinator party, but it wasn't clear when it's going to be. And the B City group is working on participating and supporting that event. They're also working on a grant through FWF. I'm not even quite positive what that is. And that grant is being worked on. And that pretty much was a very brief meeting. That's pretty much where things stand. But the website is the most exciting part at this point, and it's really cool that's coming about. So
Clifford, what was the grant that they're working on?
it was through the FWF. My wife took the notes. It was the very end of the meeting, and it was just kind of an aside. Oh, we're working on this grant, and I don't know. It sounds like Fish and Wildlife Fund. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think Thomas Peters was working on something.
Yes, Thomas was, exactly. Thomas is spearheading most of these. He's also working on some improvements to the wildflower meadow at Serenbe in conjunction with all this as well. That's one of the pieces here. Thank you. Yes, so that's pretty much where things are.
All right, thank you. We have no items for consideration.
Hey,
Are there any other-
Diana, I just wanted to check to make sure number 9, if I know we discussed it earlier, and just wanted to make sure we were done discussing.
Is there
that.
anything else, Clifford, that you want to say about the trailhead sign and map proposal?
No, Roland has a draft of what it could be. I just think it would be great to move that forward this year. It would be an obviously wonderful thing to do, and we could talk about what else it might include. But the trails are just about done there. There's still a couple of little odds and ends, a little tiny loop we actually talked about today. Wouldn't it be fun? I mean, I love little loops where even if you're coming back the same way, you could take a slightly different route, and I enjoy those. And there's a couple of those being added and such. But for the most part, Roland, I guess we could say what the trails are 90 90% done now.
Yeah, they're, yeah, over, yeah. So-
Okay, thank you, Clifford. Thank you, Dana, for keeping us on track. Any commission member comments or suggestions? All right, staff reports. Dana.
All right, I have got the financials through January 23rd through yesterday. For parking fee revenue, the annual parking passes for this fiscal year, $5,337. The daily parking, both cash and credit card, is right around $44,400 for a total of $49,736 for this fiscal year. And I thought Chip might ask, so I went back and looked to see how it compared to this time last year. And we seem to be on target. I had presented the financials at the February meeting through January 31st. So it was kind of a close date, and it was right around 50,000. So we look to be on track for last year. And then primitive camping, still just that $50. I don't think the weather's been very conducive for people to go camping. And then 2023 parking decals distributed to date. Resident 200, non-resident 227 for a total of 427.
Thank you, Dana. Yay. Thank you.
Dana, actually, I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to ask because I didn't want to put you on the hook.
I
Thank
remembered
you.
this time.
Yeah.
Is there something else you would like to ask, Chip?
No, that's it. That's it. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. All right, Daryl.
All
You're-
right, all right, I'm gonna answer some questions that I've been taking notes down that y'all have. First, let's talk about the volunteer. Robin and I have been talking about, we had just rangers that were just out there passing out information or whatever. We're talking to someone that's in college, or maybe coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What they'll do is he'll be the same thing, but he'll be somewhat of a worker, like maybe picking up trash, and he'll have access to the chase in the bathrooms in case something happens on the bathrooms. He'll be more of a working ranger, but yeah, accessible from people, visitors, be able to pass out information and be seen. And so that's what we really need there. I think just having a ranger just being there, walking around is great, but if we could have a worker ranger, I think that's going to kill two birds with one stone. If you get the picture. I was just making a joke, one of them jokes that he makes that I can't make. Anyway, okay. If you have noticed, the Trust for Public Land, they are out at Riverlands today and tomorrow. And they will be Thursday and Friday at Campbellton Park, doing some of the clearing and work out there, getting ready for future projects that's going to be done. So if you see anybody out there working in them parks, that's them. Christine has sent me a message. I believe Gabe is out there doing some work. They've been in communication with me, and I'm out there. So they're doing a lot of work that we're not having to do, and we're so grateful. Hutchinson Ferry Park. First of all, the fence. I want to just discuss that fence. I got pros and cons of the fence. The one that's fallen, the one that's already existing, that's rotten. The thing is, I believe that it's just my opinion, and I would just want to hear what y'all's thoughts are on there. I think we need to go ahead and replace it. It definitely needs replacing. We can either get rid of it completely or replace it. My recommendation would replace it, because if we don't replace it, you're going to have people access, and we're going to have to keep that mowed, like the front section, because that's what people are going to expect. Then in that Movember that y'all want us to do, that will kind of mess that up. Plus,
yes,
there's over that hill, there's you can't see, if anybody over there, they're doing things they shouldn't be doing, or camping or making stuff. I think we should keep it the way it is for now until future development. I think we need to redo that fence. And Robbie and I discussed, if we're going to do that fence at the outcrop, we do it all at, try to do it with the same person, same contract, try to get it all done at one
that's
whack.
really smart. Yeah,
If you know what I'm saying. So does anybody have a thought of let's do away with it. Let's keep it. I just like to hear what you have to say before I
I
move
think
on.
we should keep it. I
Def-
really do.
Definitely keep it. I think it's so important. It
Okay.
defines the end
I
of
agree.
the general
I
use
agree.
space and the beginning of the nature area.
I
It
agree.
is vital,
I
vital.
agree.
Plus, you're gonna
Great,
have
thank you,
kids
thank you.
drinking back there. I hate to say it.
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
all kind of
It's
crazy.
out of sight, out. It's definitely out of sight, out of mind. I believe years ago, from what I heard from some of the elders that live here, that's one of the reasons they have it there is because, you know, the front use was designed for that. The back use was designed for nature. And then a lot of people was going back there, drinking and having parties and, you know, cops having to run them out, so whatever. But so we're going to work on that. So just thank y'all for y'all's input on that. I know I'm talking fast, but I know I don't want to take up a lot of time. Do y'all talk about taking a plastic bag and covering up the sign, the kiosk sign and all? I think just let me take the sign down and then we
Okay.
get ready for it. We'll put it
Perfect.
back up. I
Perfect.
don't want it to look tacky. I mean, that's
Okay.
a
Yeah, I
great idea,
agree.
but I think we just, because, you know, the Parks Commission did discuss a while back about not, you know, like Dana said, that's one of the parks that have been approved to take money up, but the Parks Commission decided, you know, we're going to do against it because, like we talked about earlier, there's only 2 or 3 people that visit that park regular. There's not a lot of people that visit a lot, so there's no reason to have porta johns. You know, that's a waste
Yep.
of city. To me, I think that's just a expenditure that we don't need to do if we're only having a few people out there for a few hours during the day. Now, if it becomes more used, yeah, of course, definitely we need to make that, you know, make that adjustment for residents that are visiting. But as right now, I don't believe, on my opinion, that we should do that. That's just my opinion. And if it comes to a point where you send a lot of people are calling in and asking, y'all just pass it on to us, and then Robbie and I'll make some adjustments to that. But I don't think that's a need at this point. From what I haven't had any phone calls or anything, or no Parks Commissions has brought it to my attention about that just yet. Anything on that? Y'all good with that?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
Good solution. Just
Okay.
nothing. Yep.
The last thing I want to discuss with y'all, had a resident, I don't know if anybody, her name is Molly Tillander. I don't know if she's any kin to Miss Tillander that's over there on Woodruff, but her name is Molly. I'm trying to pull up the email right quick. Her name is Molly Tillander, and she says she's lived in Chattahoochee Hills for 14 years, and she's wanting to start a toss and fetch league in the city. You know, before y'all start making, you know, this, let me go through the pros and cons of this, and that way y'all can give me y'all's thoughts on approving this or not. It would really like to play on Sundays from February to March. They were asking requests to use the town green behind City Hall. Of course, I detoured her from that because that's made for a person, you know, citizens, you know, using it for events and festivals, you know, not really for dogs. You know, because, you know, when you come without dogs, a bunch of dogs in one area, and then we have an event right after that, you're gonna have a lot of people complaining about what's left. So I recommended Hudson Ferry Park if this is approved. You know, I just Robbie and I talked about it a little bit, and you know, the city does have a leash law, and so if we allow them to use, it's a frisbee throw and catch league, and they'll have several dogs out there, and they said what they do is all of them will be in a kennel, supposedly, in their own kennels until it's time for them to go do the activity, throw the frisbee and fetch it and bring it back. She sent me some pictures of it, but a lot of the pictures that I looked at, it did have the dogs sitting beside the owners and not in a kennel. You know, they said that the little, I don't know what you call the cages or whatever that they throw to, that they're temporary. They'll be removed after every event. So, you know, Robbie and I just said, well, let's talk to the Parks Commission about this and see their thoughts, because, you know, it's a iffy thing when we allow dogs off a leash, you know, because, you know, it's very adamant about people keeping their dogs on the leash, especially at Cocker Mill when you got cyclists and horseback riders through there. And I know we don't have that at Hutchin Ferry at this time, but the trails that Roland has built, there's going to be people out there. And if you have a dog get loose or whatever, get out the road, whatever. That's a concern to me, but I definitely want to hear y'all's input before. And I told her I will talk to the Parks Commission before I make this decision. So I would like to hear what y'all say and y'all's thoughts about.
Sounds like
Yes.
Frisbee Golf Part 2, the dog version. I really, I guess my concern is for people that are walking there that might feel the stress, they're kind of not welcome there because there's that event going on. My other concern would be for the wildlife potentially, although I doubt these dogs are going to cause much harm to that. So that's the smaller thing. It does sound like it's controlled at least in time, but it sounds like a precedent.
What
My
day
concern is
was, what day would they wanted to do on Sundays?
Yes, ma'am. That's a Sunday, and that's like you, that's from what I understand, you and your husband, that's the days that y'all like to go out there.
No, I
and
mean,
spend-
we usually go Friday, but I mean,
Okay, I thought it was Sunday.
but it sounds like something that would be better done in a dog park.
That's
dog
right. And that's what I told him. We
With the
don't have a dog
perimeter
park.
fence.
I
Well,
agree.
yeah, my concern would be that no matter how good you think your dog is, that they take off and run out into the road or get into the woods and they lose them, not necessarily.
Or
even
they
just
come
lose
over
them,
if you're having a picnic and see
'cause
what
there's
you're
no
eating.
fence. If they're, you know
Yep,
what I mean?
And if we are going to have events after, these events that come up, and then you're going to dogs that have to do their business,
Yeah.
not everybody cleans up at it. And I know these probably are responsible, and I don't know anything about them. They're probably very responsible, pet owners. But sometimes you're not always paying attention what happens. And then, I think that we have evolved in Hutchin Ferry Park into being an event area, especially at the front entrance, just like Clifford
Yeah.
said earlier, that from main gate that's what we kind of designed it for. And I'm not going to go back in the backfield. I'm not saying I'm not going to. I say I really would not like to cut that backfield down where they can
No.
use it back there. That's not what it's designed for. And I'm not totally against. I'm not totally for. And
Yeah.
I really need y'all's, because what I'm going to do is
I
I
would-
might take it to mayor and council.
I
for
would
this.
think that if there were to be an area within that park that we were to fence, that they could go
Yep.
into and would be fenced, but then we have the expense of the fence. Rhymes.
Yeah.
But
You're right.
but to me, there'd have to be that, and then it would be ready for them. But it's not.
You're right.
They need a fenced
Well,
area, I think.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that's the thing is, it's not really considered a dog park.
Yeah.
And I think that what I've heard from y'all in all the meetings that we have, that's going to be an event park, a passive event park.
Yeah.
And when you start having this kind of thing in there, I think it might open up doors for things that I don't think that the Parks Commission is wanting Hudson Ferry to be designed to be utilized.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be better
Diana,
off at
do you
the
have
big field
you have any
at Cocker
thoughts?
Mill, down there in Zach's Glade, the other end of Zach's Glade, than you would be at Hudson Ferry. 'Cause it's
Yeah, but the
isolated.
only issue with that is you got the horseback riders
Would be
that
scared.
come through
Yeah.
there. And then if you got dogs, they throw in frisbee, and if you ride a horse and a horse gets spooked, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, you're right.
That's just
You're
the way
right.
it is.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we do have horses at Hudson Ferry, by the way.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, I have seen
several
some tracks out
that
there.
ride
Yeah.
over there. Yeah, and which I think is cool. I mean, they're in the field, and that is a concern sometimes. They're not there all the time, but they randomly are there too.
Miss
So-
Diana, your thoughts?
I agree with y'all, what y'all are
Yeah.
saying, that it's just, it wouldn't work. We don't have what we need.
I hate to turn somebody down
Explain it.
too, especially a
I do too,
resident,
but
But-
sometimes I've been told sometimes it's okay to say no if you believe in something and you don't have one person. You got, that's why you have a board of several
Yeah.
people. Just because one person might want it, if you got 3 or 4 others that don't want it, majority rules in this, and that's what we got to look at. That's why y'all are here. That's why you have a parks
Well,
board.
Daryl,
So-
if
I
you were to
think-
make them clean up town green afterwards, like scoop all the poop up, would you do it there?
Rolling.
Okay.
I think if the city has a leash law,
Yeah.
to have
we
no,
do.
have no leash law in the park is just the wrong thing.
Yep.
And I mean,
And
if,
that's what I've been asked to
if
do
you
is make
want to
sure the
have-
leash law signs are in Cockrell Park for sure. Because it's a big issue lately and
Yeah,
before. You remember?
but if the city wants to provide a fenced area or if there's a group, a large enough group who wants to sponsor a fenced area in one of the parks that they would use, that they would maintain, that's all right. But if you have a leash law, I don't think you can really have loose dogs running around in the park.
Yeah.
And that's right. And then plus you
Watch.
have to look at what the Parks Commission has done over the years is the comp plans that y'all have designed for all the parks and what you propose the parks to be. And if this doesn't fit into what y'all have proposed, it just we can't all of a sudden come and say, well, let's make this little area for dogs.
But
It has to go through that whole process that we have to start all over with the meetings and stuff. Yeah.
Was there a dog park on the plan for Hutchinson Ferry?
No.
I know. I think there was
No.
somebody had, was in one of the drawings, but what we did is like Miss Diana tell you, we took all the most people voted on the most things and
Oh,
we
right,
put
right,
that
right,
on
right.
there. And the
Yeah, I
things that
think it was
wasn't voted
gone.
very highly, it was set aside.
Well, there's a dog park at Serenby, right? But that's not public, is it?
Not public.
Oh.
And they
Yeah.
have their problems anyway, the big dogs pick on the little dogs. I mean,
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's a door that I'm
but
Yeah, it sounds like you want us to convince you not to say.
well, if it's not on the master plan and
Yeah,
I think it has to be a fenced off area.
Yeah, I like
Make it
I like
safe
what
for
Pat says.
everyone. All
Yeah,
you need is one dog biting one kid.
right.
Yeah.
And
Or
if
chasing
you
a horse or
remember,
something. Yeah.
and if you remember, I just brought it to y'all's attention, I don't know, several months back about Rico Ballfield, that, some residents were letting their dogs loose in there and that's not good, especially when you have kids that use that. And then we decided to open the fences up. So if you're not going to let them in that fence in, because it's not a dog park and Hudson Ferry wasn't designed as a dog park and the town
No.
green is for events. It's not really for dog and that sort of an event. So
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, I'll pass that on to her with the thoughts of the Parks Commission. I believe that's all the things I had. Did I miss something? Because I know there's a lot of questions and I want to make sure everybody gets their answers from me that they
Well,
need.
just a minor thing, when you replace that fence, at the end of the gravel road in Hutchinson Ferry, will you have like a people-size walk
Oh,
through?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going to do it that y'all have already asked me to do.
Yeah.
Tom had even put that on the agenda for the retreat.
Oh, cool.
I have to, every year that we have to put things together that y'all were telling me, and I give it to Robbie and the mayor and council. They discuss upcoming projects, they approve improve these things. And that was definitely already been approved and already been talked about. So we're definitely going to have a drive-through gate and a pass-through gate, and we're going to make it a little wider because there's some places you could drive around, and we'll make sure that that's not a possibility in the future.
Yeah, I've been using that for the tractor, but I have to admit, riding or driving.
But that's okay. Well, that's because we got to do it better. We get you a key and all that stuff. So everything in the future is going to work better over there. And that's a good thing that
Cool.
we're going to get the outcrop. And if what we need to do is when they go to the retreat and do the approvals or whatever,
Mhm.
we'll definitely have to get you and Diana and Clifford out there or whatever. And let's decide where we want to put these fences
Yeah, I
at
agree.
the outcrop.
Great idea.
'cause I
That
wanna make
sounds
sure
great. I
that's-
mean, it would be
that's
great to
exactly
have a
what
little
you want.
gate, potentially, eventually. We talked about leading walks. Some sort of
Yes,
guided
sir.
walk. So it might be nice to have
Yes, sir.
a small gate. But also for the other fence, would it be worth, I don't know, we're running very late, but would it be worth just something to throw out there to have for that when we replace that fence, to put something like natural area sign there so people know, oh, this is a liminal, this line tells me that going in there, I'm going to the natural area. It might be nice
Oh, sure.
to have some sort of sign like that.
That's easy, Clifford. That's
That might
very
be helpful.
basic. That
So
stuff can
people know
happen anytime.
why the fence is there. It's there because you're protecting a natural area.
Very good.
Well,
Right.
most people think
Yeah,
that
that's
that's the end of the park, actually. you know, because
Yeah,
And that's good though.
Yeah, I
Right
agree
now,
with
it's kinda
that.
good unless
I
you're
would
gonna go
rather
on
it be
trails.
that way where they do think it's the end of the park and then they
Yeah.
don't keep
The end of
going.
the
Me
park
too.
as you know it, and I feel fine.
Daryl, I have one more
Yeah.
comment about that fence, if I can
Yes, sir.
make a quick
Yes, sir.
comment. And I think I told you
Of course.
about it. I asked
Sure.
you about it. I think it was Palmetto that went on park property, went round through the woods there and went all the way back to the reservoir and bush hogged. But
Yeah,
they didn't
somebody
ask,
did.
did they need to ask permission for that? I'm just curious.
No, I mean, no, we have, we have to be good neighbors, because we have a
Mhm.
mutual aid with them, with the PD and the fire department.
Okay.
And plus
So
it
we-
is their reservoir. And, I don't want to be petty, if they need to go out there and clean out a little bit around the reservoir, I don't think we should make a big deal because we might need them,
Yeah, I agree.
for in the future. And if I start bringing up an issue, causing an issue, I want to
just
be a good
wondered-
neighbor. If
I just wondered because I didn't
yes,
know
sir,
who it
that
was.
makes sense.
Yeah, I had no idea
Right.
that who was
And-
back there with a tractor.
And I haven't really talked to anyone to find out who did that.
Yeah.
It could have been them or maybe a resident owns a little bit of land on that side. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
maybe
they were the
so.
only ones that I would think they would do something like that. Yeah, but it looks nice. I went down there after you told me
No,
and checked
no,
it.
actually it does.
It
They
looks
cleaned out the
super.
underbrush. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
So-
nice. And got rid of some privet, and which
Yes,
we
they
love.
did.
Get rid
They
of
did. They
privet.
got rid of some of that.
All
So-
the privet, go away.
One
right.
question. At that land that borders that, at that same area that belongs to Palmetto,
Mhm.
there's not the potential that they would clear any of the land along the creek all the way back to the property line. They'll leave that alone. It's a watershed.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure
Yeah.
they would. The
Okay.
inlet water, I'm sure they don't like to fool with the inlet water. I would
Because
think.
there are 4 beaver dams there now, not just 1 or 2. There's 4 of them on Cedar Creek
Oh,
that
man.
dam the creek. Yeah. And I
And
just
they own
keep-
or is it on our property, Palmetto property?
one of them's on our property. The other 3 are just over the line on Palmetto property. So we're hoping that
Hmm.
they'll leave them alone because beaver dams are good for,
Yeah.
it's good for the watershed actually. So anyway,
Sure. It
That's
keeps
my
it
comment.
filtered, keeps water
It-
filtered for sure.
it does. Yeah. So
All right. Thank
That-
you, Darren.
Did I answer
Thank you,
everybody's
Darren.
questions?
I think you
Okay,
covered
good.
everything.
Thank
all
you.
right.
Thank you.
I think we might be ready to adjourn. Do I have a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting?
I will so motion.
Second it.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Nay. All right, we are adjourned at,
Hey, I sent the
7:40
photograph
now.
out. I emailed that photo of Daryl and the old master photo out. Everybody take a look. It looks pretty awesome. So,
that
thank you.
is
Hold
guys.
so
on.
It
cool.
looks good. You'll see it. Cool.
That
Thanks.
is so cool.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, thank you, everybody.